Bd25 Chain Story and Guidance. The Magical Council 25 out of 32. Chain, the guiding force of order, place and function. The guiding force of order, place and function. Learn to accept your place and the roles you have to play. Quote, "The world is a theater, the earth a stage, which God and nature do with actors fill." Proverb. End of quote. Chain's story. After Kalimubanku had taken its place as the governor in Crystalia, it was me, a drop of the ocean of love, the home of Kandu, that came to venture Crystalia. As a crystal child of light, I settled down in Orania, the lower crystal kingdom, and Kalimubanku observed me with care, for he knew he needed a team that would help him to keep life in Crystalia going. As a young child playing in the gardens of the Castles of Garments, located in the Plains of Dreams, Kalimubanku gave me the name Chain, meaning the one that connects to the purpose and function of everything and everybody. So everything and everybody has a special place to ensure some kind of order. As a child, I drove everybody nuts with being obsessed with putting everything in a particular order, and I got into endless fights with anybody placing them differently. My room looked meticulously clean. There was order and everything had its designated place, such as the furniture, the toys and my clothes. Unfortunately, I started to have lesser friends who felt totally restricted in playing with me. After some time I got mad, and I didn't care all anymore about it. But then everything looked messy, and it was hard for me to find things. I couldn't figure out what to do because with too much order there was no room for creativity and play, and without any order it was chaos, a mess. Later in life I discovered enormous powers within me, and Kalimubanku gave me the assignment of arranging all the planets in the universe, which I did. And finally I felt I did something that made sense, for without this kind of order it would become devastation and destruction. Just imagine the sun leaving its place and coming a little closer to the earth. Everything would burn up. I got, however, again completely absorbed in creating order and continued with creating order in nature, but ended up building cities and enormous businesses and getting obsessed with creating order, and it felt like where it all had begun. There were endless individuals living and working in my cities in the manufactories and businesses that undermined the order. They didn't like the positions they had, competition and jealousy ruled, and at the end it turned all into chaos again. Within no time I turned into a dictator and created law and order, but many were against me, and that didn't feel well either. Then I got involved in democracy and offering much more freedom in the sense of rules, laws and regulations, but many took advantage of the situation until it all ended up again in chaos and destruction. I called myself a freedom fighter and tried to free others who were feeling in difficult situations, and this felt great. But then, afterwards, in general, I got disappointed of freeing these individuals who didn't know what to do with themselves. I realized that people need to free themselves, as everybody is slave to something. Children in general are slaves of sweets and addicted to their toys, games and gadgets, and adults have an endless row of addictions, from working to possessions to watching TV, clothing, cigarettes, foods, alcohol, medical drugs and hallucinating drugs. I found that individuals were weak, as they were not even able to stop the little addictions. And then I started to observe others, complaining about my rules and law, but themselves always busy making rules, and mostly for others, which worked out only in their advantage. And when there were rules, others tried to bend those rules or were against them. I was fortunately to finally figure out that no order could survive unless you come from a higher perspective and live with the highest virtues based on an inner connection with Kandu and living life from that level of consciousness. Accepting one's place, role and roles was the first requirement. One needed to see oneself as a part of the great chain of life, so all had an order and could function, but without accepting one's place and function and not looking at things from a higher perspective, individuals would keep on trying to break away from this natural chain and even seeing the chain as a chain that kept them imprisoned. The prison had nothing to do with one's place and function, but had to do with individuals who got tricked within their own mind and seeking freedom in a world in which real freedom could not exist. I had my endless discussions in endless positions regarding the thoughts of free will and choice, and realized that everybody is always dependent on so many things, like being dependent on air and water and food and clothing and shelter, and work to provide these things. Man is dependent on the weather and nature around him, which he is unfortunately destroying. And when you look at the care a human body or a home or car needs, there is very little freedom left. As I said before, individuals are in addition slaves to all kinds of addictions and still love to talk about choice and free will, forgetting that everything one thinks, says and does is created through endless repetitions and is a very restricted and limited life adventure. Just think when you would have been born on the other side of the planet in a different culture, with different parents, attending different schools and adopting different beliefs. You as individuals are more programmed robots, and the choices you make are based on your programming, and there is very little free will in this case. Through your sense organs and the repetitions of thoughts and ideas and words and certain tastes, behaviors and beliefs that were around you, you are now the one who you think you are. Everything you think, say and do is programmed, and you react in a certain way because of this programming. Your choices are all based upon this as well, and as I told you before, there is on top very little freedom as you have to take care of so many things and you are dependent on endless things. There is, however, one choice everybody has, which is to follow Kandu's will. Understand that nothing belongs to you, as you came without anything and will leave one day without anything. In case of understanding this, one can have some kind of freedom by becoming a better observer in one's life, and instead of getting so involved, being more an observer from a distance and able to guide oneself and to be open to be guided by the guiding force of Creator, the universe and nature. This feeling of wanting to be free is actually about becoming free of the mind, as the mind keeps you in a prison of its own mind itself, which is a lifelong process of inner and silent prayer and meditation and surrendering to God's or Kandu's will. In other words, when you are not living in His will, you will try everything with your personal will, and this way of seeking freedom and free will always ends up in chaos and destruction. The ego and the self-will, which is connected to the mind, always tries to run away from roles and positions in the chain of life, always try to bend rules and regulations, and even think it has the freedom to do whatever it wants, and on top even doesn't see or accept the consequences. Sometimes it is possible to bend or go around man-made rules when nobody sees it, but they are there to create some kind of order because mankind doesn't know anymore how to live without these rules. However, trying to manipulate, ignore, and disobey the indisputable nature's law of universal nature has many consequences, and there is a big price to be paid for all of that. One is only free and has free will when he or she is the master over one's sense organs that rule one's mind. And being the master over one's mind and having risen above the realm of mind and matter. Hopefully you understood and understand now more about choices and freedom and free will and get less confused. Reading or listening to these words may not make any sense to you on the other side, but hopefully they will later in your life. But for the moment, in your stage of your life, it is about following the guidance of your parents, teachers, and other guides. And when you don't, you know you will run into trouble. Order is needed so everything and everybody can function. The only way to fight against these rules and guidelines is when others would be doing things to you that cause you physical, mental, and emotional abuse. When they are out there to hurt you. In these cases, hopefully there is some kind of law that could protect you, and this you have to seek first, before taking justice into your own hands, which mostly ends up evil fighting evil. I can speak from experience when you listen to the rest of my personal story. The higher realms of the gods. Kalimabanko saw my potential at an early age, and under his guidance trained me in every aspect and offered me a place in the higher realms of the gods. And I made myself into the god of order, place, and function. I was great for his plan, as I would keep everybody busy with not accepting their place and function in the theater of life, and trying to find another place and function, and by doing so, throwing everything out of order, and then again staying busy with restoring the order. Individuals would stay busy and not thinking about Kandu and their real perfect self, and making no effort to get out of the realm of duality. Throughout the history of the higher realms of the gods, however, there had been many wars and battles, and I played unfortunately my part in it. I was the one who created law and order in the realm of the gods. But then I gave everybody ideas how to break those laws, and we did very bad things, and on top, we were not content with our individual place. We all wanted more and more power, and this only possible by trying to undermine and destroy the power of the others. Then there was that time I even thought I had free will and could do whatever I wanted, but the laws of universe and nature gave me endless signs so I could feel and see that things were wrong. But I didn't care. I just wanted my way, and I can tell you that there were many painful moments and memories that I will not easily forget. Doing good things and obeying the natural laws of universe and nature is something natural, and one easily forgets this, but doing incorrect things and bad things just hang on you and even haunt you. There is no need to be proud to be a good person, and there is not a lot where you can be proud of in general, as you mostly go against everything and everybody. So do not judge me for all my wrongdoing, but just start taking your place in the chain of life and learn to follow the guidelines around you and tune into the law and order of universe and nature. Touring my realm. At one point in time in the history of Crystalia, with the permission of Kalimabanko, I made my second home in a realm in which I could experience my energy in full. Here I had my playground without having to battle with the other keepers, but where other problems arose. I went to the plains of dreams to one of the castles of garments, and took the body I still have today, representing my purpose. There are 3 countries in my realm, and in the first one everything is in perfect order and meticulously clean. All the houses are the same next to each other, the streets are straight, the cars are square and in a square shape, The garbage containers with separated items are standing on the very clean pavements. The meals are set at times, everything in each home has its place, and the male inhabitants drive in the morning all at the same time to work and return all at the same time. The children go to school at the same time and return from the school also at the same time, and when they play together, they play familiar games. Everybody has the same daily routines and similar habits, and when inhabitants get together, they talk about more or less the same things and eat and drink more or less the same items. The second country, everybody seems to do whatever and whenever, and nothing seems to have an order, although they work or trade with money enough to have a good living. But for those who have to do the cleaning, whew, it is a very difficult job, because nobody cleans up, and every day is the same mess. Life looks disorganized and chaotic, but they live, and it's great to experience this as well, as there seems to be some kind of order even in this chaos. Life happens and life continues already for a long time, and I even visit here at times for a short time to experience this kind of lifestyle. The villages have no standards or have a real infrastructure, and each home is messy on the inside as well as on the outside. In the third country, everything is discussed regarding everyone's place and function and how to keep some kind of order, and this is also done in regards to everything else. The most important is that everybody is assisted to understand the importance of everybody's place and roles he or she has to play, at home, at work, and in general. In regards to professions, it is made clear that some individuals make more money because of a certain economic and social factor, but that everybody is equally important, from the one who cleans the street to the doctor or banker. There is no need to honor or praise some and to look down at others. Very important is that individuals here give all they can, no matter what position they have in society. There are lots of studies done in regards to working with natural elements and how to place objects in a home, but also where the door should be in order to get an optimum home environment. It can get so specific, but some basics, like not having a TV and computer in your bedroom, is made very clear, as the bedroom is for sleeping. Many individuals are learning to work with the spirits of herbs and plants and flowers and foods, but there are as well some rules. Everything has a certain place and order in order to function optimum. The big change. Having two main residences, in the higher realms of the physical gods and in my private realm, I was asked at one point in time by Maria Morrow to become a faculty member at the Magical University of Life at the Sacred Archives. Maria Morrow, being the principal who respected anybody and who was wise, invited us all, the keymasters, keepers and guardians of the universe, and we keepers of conduct received the name Divanas. Under his guidance we all had an equal position and shared the knowledge of universe and nature from our individual perspective with the students, and we all felt very important. It was a great change. We turned back into love and stopped our wars, for we all knew that you needed all the help you can get in order to save yourself and your planet. For those amongst you who want to become more aware and who understand that I am part and parcel of you and within everything and everybody, I invite you going the journey and rediscovering all about me in my realm, or sit in my classroom at the university and learn about the basics of life, or even connect with me through a home self-schooling system. All connections to me are an incredible experience, and the more you know, the better you can go through your adventure. How I can help you in your life. Quote, "The world is a stage, but the play is badly cast." Oscar Wilde. End of quote. Look at the stars and planets and every detail in creation, all having its exact place. There is an order to everything in creation, so things can function properly. But it is only mankind that interferes with this order. I am Chain, the guiding force of order, place and function, and reminding you that there is an order to everything, that everything and everyone has an allotted place, so everything in creation can function. I will assist you in accepting your place and to be content, hopefully reducing your complaints and the tendency to run away. I assist you in more knowledge regarding the optimum function of your home, your room, your garden, and as well about your mind and body, and how to maintain that. Last but not least, I will share more about you regarding freedom and free will. Often I visualize life in Crystalia, the creation, as all of us being on a big stage, and the audience is only one person, Kandu, the creator, watching us all. We are never content with our place or the roles we have to play. We rebel and argue. We are jealous or feel deprived. And the real adventure of life has not even started, because we are all seeking a different place and different roles. And Kandu must have already fallen long time asleep with this boring, rebelling and destructive play on stage. The function and place of your mind. The function of your mind is to assist you in your life in order to do well with the roles you have to play and the place you have. But when you let your mind being directed by your sense organs and do whatever it wants, I can assure you that the order is disturbed. The mind needs to be under the command of your soul, and this might be a struggle for the rest of your life. Keep your mind under close observation, because its first most function is to distract you from finding out who you really are. Remember, you are a soul, a crystal child of light, sons and daughters from Kandu, the creator. Don't forget this. You came as a soul to experience Crystalia, the creation, and in order to function in this realm you needed a mind, which is like a computer, a communication device, and a body to walk around in. Your place and function in society. Whatever place you take in society, always remember that there is no need to compare or compete. You have a complete individual and unique place and purpose. Accept your place and do your best to ensure optimum function and keep a certain order and organization that doesn't interfere but contributes to yourself and everybody else and the world. There are three types of humans regarding accepting their role and place in life. The first group is always running away from their obligations. The second group is those who stay wherever they are, although not accepting and complaining. And the third group is those who accept their place and make the best out of each situation. The roles you have to play. There are many roles you will play during your life, from being a son or daughter to later becoming a parent and professional in business, but also the roles you play as a friend, a brother, a sister or student, a teammate, and of course the roles of being a hero, a happy person, a compassionate individual, and go on. See yourself as an actor who is learning to play many roles in many different situations and become a star, your own star. The place of your belongings. To the best of your abilities, try to assist in the household to keep everything in a designated place and keep things neat, especially in your room. Your room and closet is like a good organized mind. When things around you are messy and disorganized, it will reflect on your mind and vice versa. Organize things in a way that things are easy to be found, and this makes your life easier. The purpose of food. There is an order inside your body as well, as all your organs have a specific function, and there is a certain time and place for all the things you eat and do. Just imagine standing up and eating a 4-course meal, or straight away having to play a football match. And in regards to foods, know that there are seasonal foods and that your body during the cycle of the day has different weaknesses and strengths, and that certain foods are fitting at a certain time of the day, and that foods that are not consumed straight from nature and which are manipulated in various ways are difficult for your organs to be digested. You cannot just eat whatever and whenever, because you will pay a price for that. And this price can be feeling wired and tired and irritated, or signs of physical illness show up, which is the body letting you know that it needs to be assisted to be cleaned. The real purpose of food, of good food, is to keep you healthy and well. And for sure, it is about experiencing different tastes. But watch out to not become the slave of these tastes to which you get addicted through by repeating the same all the time. The purpose of being fit. The purpose to be fit is that your body stays healthy and that all your organs and parts keep working optimum. But watch out for extreme sports that oftentimes do more harm than good to your well-being. When you maintain your body well, you can have long-term benefits, and when you do not do this, you will see your body car breaking down. Your body needs impulses that actively and stimulate the power of strength, flexibility, endurance, balance, coordination, concentration, and speed. And there are endless ways to do it without being competitive. However, watch out not to go in comparing and competing with others, because you may forget to honor your place and you push the functions of your body to the limit and things will go out of order. And this shows itself again by the body giving you endless messages of imbalance. The professional you in the future. Being at home, at school, or participating in a group, always keep in mind that everybody has a different place and different roles to play. So do not feel jealous or left out. Realize that when others praise you, that you might have become addicted to being praised and that you have to keep it all up, so that you will get praised all the time, which is impossible. Stay in the awareness that everyone is equally important in the chain of life, and when you start studying for a profession and later having your position, realize that salaries are based according to economic and social standards, nothing to compete or compare. So, accept your place, agree on a certain salary, give your best, and do not compare or complain, which will throw things out of order. Obeying nature's laws. As I said before, realize that universe and nature laws are more strict than man-made laws, and that the eyes of these laws are watching you all day long, just as Kandu is watching you all the time. So do not try to hide or manipulate. Everything is being seen and registered, and there are tickets you will have to pay, and these tickets and the price you pay now or later come in endless forms, from how you feel to what you get or not get in your life. You don't accept your position and your place and you rebel, which costs energy, and it will cost energy again in trying to get another place and position. You put the energy out to organize things, or you pay much more by having to clean up your mess. You tune into nature and keep your body healthy and fit, or you pay double price later by being sick. Everything in the universe and nature knows how to take its place, so that there is an order, so all can function. Humans seem to be the only species that resist their place, run away from their place in every aspect in life, and worst of all, interfere with nature by polluting the soil, air and waters, and doing other things to nature and throwing everything out of order. Humans are the only danger to the planet, a danger to themselves and others. Understanding man-made laws. You may not agree with the rules and regulations that are made by your parents and the school you attend, but know when you go against them that you will have to suffer. I tell you, only to stand up and see how the law can assist you when things are out of order in regards what parents and teachers do to you, especially when this involves people trying to cause you intentional pain. When this is not the case, and you are still not okay with the rules and guidelines around you, try to voice yourself, and when nothing works, you may have to wait until you have your own home, and you will see that you will making rules as well. Otherwise, you will see that there is no order and just chaos. In sports, you obey in general the rules, or you end up not being able to play. And this is the game when not following the traffic rules or committing crime. We will pay a price. About real freedom and free will. One more time about freedom and free will. Realize first of all that endless things are influencing you and which you are dependent on. Each moment is influenced by how and what you think, your environment, the weather outside, the positions of the planet, the economy, and go on. And you believe this or not, but it will not take the fact away that everything is connected through air, water, or even space, and thus having an effect and reaction. You are dependent on air, water, sunshine, food, clothes, and shelter, and you need to do something later in your life to pay for these basics. And then you have an enormous amount of obligations to come along with that, and having a body, a family, and a home. All of that takes a lot of time and effort. And when you look at all of this, you have far less influence than the things that influence you. In addition, do not think that you can do what you want, because everything is bound to rules and regulations, ranging from man-made laws to universal and nature's laws, and there is a price to be paid for everything you think, say, and do. So I advise you to mostly accept where you are, who you are, and what is going around you. Accept the roles you have to play, although you can always improve, and follow as good as possible the rules. And then you have a kind of freedom. Look at life from a point being a visitor, visiting a world in which nothing really belongs to you, but where you have to take care of things when they are in your hands to take care of. But do not forget to not get involved, because then you know that your mind has tricked you and that you have become the slave of it. Feel free to contact at any moment your real self by looking through everything you think you are and what you have and where you are, and see that pure light within yourself, which, by the way, is in everybody and everything. By doing this, you come from the right place, and you can see that all is a perfect adventure to remind you about your real self and your real home. By doing so, you get less involved and you're able to function better as you are not chasing, rebelling, and by doing so, there is a better order to everything. Order, place, and function. Accept your place in the chain of life and learn to play your roles well. Keep in order so things can function and that things do not go to hell.